Hi everybody, it's Emily. Today I'm doing a speed build for an ice cream cafe on my island. I'm really excited for this because I'm going to be using some of the new custom designs that people have been making using the face cutout standees. I've seen a lot of these going around, and so I thought I could use those to make an ice cream stand, and I think it should be really cute and fun, and it's also going to make good use of some of the new bushes that have come into season. So the azaleas have just come into season, so they're all really pretty and pink, and so I thought I could make a bit of a pink build, and it's going to be going right by Bianca's house, who has a pink roof, so I think it should all work together really nicely. I'm going to be working mainly in this area, but if I need more space I will bring it down. And here are the two ice cream truck codes that I found. I'll make sure to leave the creator codes in the description box in case you'd like to use them for yourself. And I just think these are so pretty and talented. I found them just by looking them up in the custom designs portal. I think I just typed in ice cream and ice cream truck, and there were a lot of different options there, so you can definitely search in there to find something that works for yourself. And I'm going to start out with this pink code to create one of my ice cream trucks. I'd like to maybe use both of them, but I wasn't sure exactly where I wanted to put them yet. And this one looks so pretty, and I do really like the colours. Because they have holes in the middle of them, I wanted to plant some trees in behind so that you couldn't see a lot of details behind them, which I thought might be a bit distracting. So instead, just using trees meant that it just kind of filled in that gap and just made it look green instead. And I'm just going to be adding some custom designs down underneath to give them some more depth and make it a bit more interesting. And you will see that some of the flowers and then when I use bushes in this build are not fully grown yet, but if you stick around until the end of the video I will do a walkthrough with everything fully grown in, because once they start to be fully grown it does make it look a lot different and kind of brings it all together, so make sure to stick until the end for that. And these custom designs are something that I really enjoyed with the new updates. I think it added a lot more possibilities for everyone, and I've also seen people using the umbrella codes really cleverly as well to make boxes and things like that. And I just really like that we have a lot more options creatively. I'm not the best at designing the codes myself, but because you can look them up there are so many different options. And it just means that we can do things that we weren't able to do before. Right in that gap I've placed the festival balloon, which I think looks so sweet, and then I'm just going to come in and start trying to figure out where I'd like to put some seating area. So I started out by making a circle of my 9-tile path, but I actually decided to switch that out and use some of the in-game pathing. So I actually turned that circle into the same circle but just using some sand pathing, which I think looks really good. And I wanted to do this flower shape by coming through with other codes and creating petals just by rounding out 2 of the edges, and I was going to put those all the way around, but I realised I wouldn't have enough space, so I actually decided to create something a bit different by using the tiled pathing. And I'm really glad that I decided to go with this, just because I think the grey colour brought out the other colours in the build a little bit more. And so I placed this big chunk of it back here, and then that gave me a really good opportunity to use the other half of this ice cream truck, just because it kind of ended up looking like a road, and so I thought I could use both of them and make it look like they were parked up on the edge of the roading. And you'll see I'm trying to push them back so that it looks like they're off-centered from each other, but I actually ended up changing that in a little bit. And then I wanted to try rounding out the corners to make it look softer and just a bit more natural, which I think worked nicely because of the other paths I have nearby. but I actually ended up preferring it with one edge completely straight so that, as I say, it would look more like a road. And so I ended up realising that I probably needed to bring back this tiling a little bit more. So where I laid down those custom designs earlier, I'm just cleaning them up a bit so that I can add in more of my arched tile. And I don't normally use for in-game pathings, I tend to use downloaded codes, but I do like using them every so often because it shows up on the map, which I think is really nice because it looks a bit different. So I got both of my trucks placed like this, and I think they look really cute. And that's going to be the main base for this build, and then what I'm going to do is just start to decorate around them. And I wanted to keep to mainly pink and yellow colours for this build, just because I thought it would look really nice, and compared to a lot of my island, I thought having a pastel area might look a bit cuter. So I've used the cherry blossom branches, and then right here I placed the garden lantern, just so that at night time it would still be really visible what this area was. And then probably one of my favourite details of this whole build is that I used the paw print designs. I think they look so sweet, and you can just imagine that one of my villagers has been walking around to get their own ice cream, and I just think that's so cute. And then I'm going to come back in with a sand path like I was earlier and create another circle of it. I really like using the sand path just because it has that bright yellow colour, and so I think it looks a bit more pastel than some of the dirt paths, and it's the one that I don't really use a lot on my island, whereas the other dirt paths match in with my downloaded path a lot more. So I created this big chunk of sand down on this edge to kind of create two different seating areas, just because I felt like this little gap was not quite big enough. And I wanted to use this petal pile, which I've been collecting a lot of the cherry blossom designs because we've just come out of that season, and so I've had some of the recipes in, which was really nice. And so I decided to use this, and I really like how when you run over it you can get the leaves to kick up a bit, which looks so cute. Then into this corner I'm placing the puppy plushie. This is one of the Christmas items, and I had the pink one which I had a look at, and then I also had the yellow one, and because both of those colours would have worked, I wanted to see how they looked. But I actually ended up preferring the pink one, so I switched it back into pink. And of course I had to activate it so that it would bark, which is really funny when you run past it because you can actually hear it barking, which is so cute. Into this corner I'm going to place a drinks machine. I like this because drinks machines are normally cold as well, so I think it matches in nicely with the ice cream stands. And then I had this tricycle, which I was really inspired because I've seen people use the tricycles for outside of Timmy and Tommy's shop because they're little, so it kind of looks like they could be riding a tricycle. And actually just across that water is where the Nook's Cranny is, so I thought it would be cute to use that tricycle right by their shop as well. And so I placed it out here on this circle, and I think it looked so cute. Plus the colours do match in really nicely with how I've got the other colours going on, so it's pink and I think it ties in. And then into this corner I wanted to use that blossom viewing lantern. I had tried it out in the space of a festival balloon, but I decided to put it there instead, and I think it looks really good. I'm just quickly going to grab down this bamboo partition because it was kind of getting in the way of me seeing where I was designing, and I'll put that back later I only moved it so that I could see it down in this part as I was placing things down, so that I could see what I was doing. And then I'm starting to place out some seatings. I want you to be able to come to the ice cream shop and then have a seat to eat it, especially because it's now summer in game, and so the warm weather is starting to come out and it looks so pretty. And I'm adding in some stone paths to come down and lead you from one area into the other. And then I'm going to place down that azalea bush right there. As I say, I'll show it when it's fully grown in the ending, because it does look really nice in pink, which I think is super cute. This log bench, I wanted to have it sit right by the drinks machine. And I'm just coming through and adding in some custom designs to go right underneath it, which I really like to keep it looking natural, because it kind of looks as if this has grown up right from below it. And then I'm also using the iron garden chair in this area so that there are a couple of different places to sit. And you can actually see that Nana came to watch me whilst I was working, which was so cute. And she actually matches this area perfectly. It was a complete coincidence, but I really like how her colours actually match all of the colours that I was using. And she's just such a cutie. I'm just starting to fill in a lot of the different areas by just adding in more custom designs to give it some more depth, adding in weeds and extra flowers just to fill in any of those little gaps that I have. I'm just using a mixture of bushes as well in here to give it some growth, and as I say, I'm sticking to mainly pinks. And I think that is pretty much everything filled in, so I'm going to take you now on the walkthrough with everything grown in. There have been a couple of minor changes. I actually had a bush where this rose was, but I didn't like that it was making a line with all of the other bushes in the area. I thought it looked a bit too rigid. And then I also added this floating biotope planter onto the bench, which I really like that as a detail because it makes there be different layers between the height of the vending machine, then down to that planter, and then onto the bench. It kind of goes down in a gradient really nicely. So we have this first seating area, which is so cute and really nice and overgrown with all of the weeds and flowers in there. And of course the dog is sat there so sweetly. And then here we have the ice cream truck, the little perspective build using those. And I think those are absolutely adorable. I love the creator codes so much. And the festival balloon looks really pretty. I'm just really pleased with how this area turned out. I think it is probably one of my favourite builds that I have made on this island. I just love the colours and I think it's so super pretty. So I really hope you all enjoyed watching. Please make sure to leave me a like and a comment on this video, and don't forget to subscribe so that you won't miss what I post next. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye!